me, what is your question? What exactly is the question? Can you repeat the question?
So is there any difference between staying as I am and living in the present moment?
Okay. So here we have to understand two aspects of relation. Here and now and nowhere are two dimensions. Here and now is in time and space. Nowhere is not in time and space. Here and now and nowhere. So what we call as here and now is a gateway to nowhere. Before our mind is wandering in the past and future, we have to come to here and now before we get into, we go to ourself, which is our real self, which is nowhere. This nowhere, the self which is nowhere is called presence. Being here and now is called present moment, living in the present moment. So two dimensions. Living in the present moment is being here and now. Going beyond the present moment, realizing true nature is called being the presence. So the presence and present moment are two dimensions we are speaking of. When I speak of here and now, what is here and now? So the body is here and mind is now. So when body and mind are together, that's called being in the present moment. So we have to understand that time is from past to future. Past, present, and future is the flow of time. In that past, present, future, the present moment is very brief. The mind doesn't stay in the present moment. It'll jump from past to future. It's like an hourglass. You have seen the hourglass? The sand will keep on going from one glass to other glass. In the middle, there is a point. Very small point. Like that, present moment is really very narrow point. That present moment cannot be caught by the mind at all. Because now it is a 13:23. The moment I say I'm catching hold of 13:23, already 10 seconds have passed. The time, you cannot catch hold of the present moment by the mind. The mind cannot catch the present moment. But you can be in the present moment. How? Not trying to conceptualize the present moment, but being in the present moment. How do you be in the present moment? That being in the present moment is called yoga. When the body, mind, and the spirit are in alignment, it's called yoga. Whenever I do some work, being 100% in the work is called being in the present moment. When I observe something, observing consciously without bringing a judgmental mind is called being in the present moment. We can do sensing, touching, feeling, all these activities we can do in awareness. When the mind doesn't interfere, there's no judgment. It's called being in the present moment. Please understand, do not try to catch hold of the present moment. You cannot catch hold of the present moment. You can be in the present moment. So what happens when you are in the present moment? Let us give an example of a music composition. Music. There's a musician. He sings. So the audience is there, the musician is there, singing is there. When the musician is fully involved in singing, there's no duality of audience and musician. Just music is there, singing is there. The subject-object duality collapses temporarily in the being in the present moment. It's a temporary collapse. It's not final collapse. So that action is called being in the present moment. Doing anything without a sense of doership, so that totally you are in the present moment. That's called being in the present moment. Then what will happen? The body, mind, and spirit are completely aligned with the action. There's no doer at all. Thinking without a thinker, doing without a doer, experiencing without an experiencer, knowing without a knower. All this is called being in the present moment. There is no pseudo entity called me, ego, which is coming in and interfering. That's called being in the present moment. The ego is not there, but this may not be a permanent state. It's an action. So it's called karma yoga. So typically Sri Krishna calls it as karma yoga. Do your action fully in the present moment, not bothering about the result. Karmanne vadikaraste mafaleshu kadachan. This is called yoga. So then what will happen? Your body, mind, spirit is completely in alignment and it's present moment. Now what will happen if you are in the present moment? When you are enjoying music, when you are doing work with fully present moment, so the mind is not going to past or future. Mind is not craving for result. Then what will happen? Then you will be fully, you'll lose a sense of time and space. You are in a timeless space. Being here and now, which is in time, takes you to timeless reality. You lose, let's say, for example, you're enjoying a hobby. You're doing something which is a hobby. Then you don't know how many hours will have passed. Because time and space, you sense you lose. That is the meaning of being in the present moment. It's a temporary experience of the transcendental reality. Now, what is being here and now? The body is here, body only can be here, and mind also has to be here now, in the present moment. So then it's called being here and now. The characteristic of being here now is action without a doership, knowing without a knowership, thinking without a thinker, and experiencing without an experiencer. That means ego is not there. This is a natural process. Okay. So in any experience, there's a sense of triputi. Knower, known, known. Doer, doing, and result, deed. Right? If you look at very carefully, the triputi is illusory. In any action, if you are fully involved in the action, the doer and deed, the knower and known is not there. It's knowing is there. In our perception, seeing, hearing, touching, smelling, the subject-object collapses in seeing, hearing, touching, and smelling. Then we are in the what we call in the present moment. But what happens? The mind immediately will come into picture. The mind will give a labeling. In that labeling, there's a split. The object and subject split is there. A musician is singing beautiful music. Audience is engrossed in that. There's no musician and audience. It's only music is there. Then people start clapping. Suddenly the musician feels, oh, I sang I had a very good, I sang very well. And audience are there. So much of appreciation. So now the mind is coming to picture. The job of the mind is to label, the naming. All our experiences are a nameless experiences to start with. The naming interface with the nameless experience. The naming causes the duality or a split. In the nameless experience, there's no split, there's no duality. It's an experience of going beyond time and space within the frame of time and space. So that is when we are doing action. And when you are doing perceiving, we can perceive something. We can be seeing something. But if you don't bring our judgment, it's called non-judgmental awareness, or it's called choiceless awareness, then we are in the present moment. Choiceless awareness. Similarly, when you are doing action without a doership, you are in the present moment. Or something happens in your life. Okay. Life is life through some challenges, favorable and unfavorable circumstances. So if you are able to accept what happens in your life without reaction, That is called being in the present moment. That's called choiceless acceptance. The choiceless acceptance also is called surrender. Surrender is also being in the present moment. On the other hand, let us say you're not doing any action, you're not involving the outer world. You sit silently. Sit silently, that's a feeling of me, I am. So that being in the I am feeling, without identifying I am with the body or a mind or intellect, without identifying I am with any thought, that's also called being in the present moment. Because the body is here and now, okay? I'm not identifying the body, I'm not identifying the mind. If I identify mind, I identify time. If I identify the body, I am in space. Just be I am, which is called being in the present moment. So the two dimensions of being in the present moment is when you are accepting something in life, when something happens in your life, accept it, surrender it. That's called being in the present moment. When you are doing something, do without a doership. That's called being in the present moment. When you are perceiving something, perceive without judgment, non-judgmental awareness, choiceless awareness, choiceless acceptance. All these are terminologies used for being in the present moment. What is the characteristic of being in the present moment? You lose a sense of time and space, momentarily, temporarily. So the being in the present moment is a gateway to presence. Presence is Atma. Who am I? Which is transcendental reality. In the being in the present moment, you lose the ego, sense of ego temporarily. When you go to the self, when you inquire who am I, Drak Nitya Anitya Viveka, Drak Drashya Viveka, finally you realize we are pure awareness, Brahman. So that's called being in the presence. Presence is not in time, not in space. It's beyond time and space. It's the transcendental reality. Being in the present moment and going to the presence, or recognize the presence. Presence is transcendental. Being in the present moment is immanent. So this also I can say, in a sense, Atmanu Mokshartam Jagataya. For self-relation, inquire who am I and go to realize the transcendental reality. And Jagataya is to service without a sense of doership. That's called being in the present moment. In Vedantic language, we call it as yoga. Being in the present moment is called yoga. And knowing yourself is called jnana. That's why Bhagavad Gita teaching is Brahma Vidyaya Yoga Shastra. Brahma Vidya is to realize yourself. Jagataya is service. Service is called yoga. Brahma Vidya is called jnana. What is the question? What is the difference with respect to staying I am feeling? Yeah, I said no. When you are involved, what is the difference between staying I am feeling and doing? Both the senses, you lose the sense of time and space. You have to see, when I have to, my life has to be, always I have to need to act in the world. How do I have to act in the world? By acting without doership. When I don't have to act in the world, I can sit simply in the presence of I am feeling. So both are same in one aspect, means this both are same. Action without a doership or sitting with I am feeling. In both the cases, there's no ego temporarily. In one case, the action is happening. In another case, there's no action is happening. Ego is temporarily silenced. But in self-realization, Atma Jnana, ego is transcended. Ego is dropped. And time and space is also absent. Anybody has a question?
Hari Om Prabhuji.
Hari Om Vasu.
Prabhuji, awareness of the present moment can't be while I am there in the present moment. I have to get into witness of Prabhuji.
Here you should not. This is what I started with. I said, do not try to bring your mind in the present moment. You'll never be able to catch present moment. Act in the present moment. Be in the present moment. You cannot catch the present moment.
So 100% attention on what we are doing is to be in the present moment. If it is
See,
distraction, then I'm away
moment
from
you
the
try to
present.
catch hold of present moment. Your question is how I can be in the present moment. That means you are bringing the mind. So mind is nothing but naming.
Okay.
Okay, I am coming. Ego is coming.
No. My question was, the awareness of the present moment can be only from the position of the witness. Is that correct, or is it?
No. The present moment, there is no concept of witness. There is no concept of doer. There's no concept of no which way. Just simply doing. There's no witness, and witness is not separated out. The
Okay.
the witness and witnessed action, they are one. Water and wave are one.
Okay. Yes.
Right? So the witness is already taken the form of action. The knowing has taken the form of doing. Temporarily. See, all this being in the present moment is always temporary. Right?
Okay, got it.
When you are doing something, right? Let's say I'm doing something. Okay. If I'm 100% involved in doing, where is the witness? Where is the doing? It's only one reality. Correct? So then you come back. Oh, then you say Prabhuji is doing, this is the action. Then your mind is coming to picture. Then you say, I am the witness. Because now the action is not there. Mind is already conceptualizing. Then become the witness. Then you take the position of witness.
Okay.
See, when a movie is going on, you'll not be able to separate out the movie and the screen. Can you?
Okay, understood.
When the action is there, how can you separate out action and the witness, actor and the witness?
Witness has taken the form of action.
Witness and action are appearing as one reality. You cannot separate the screen in the movie.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
But the moment action stops, then the mind comes into start doing naming. This is Prabhuji, this is the work, like that. So at that time, instead of identifying the mind, you go back to I am feeling and just be in the present moment. And from I am feeling, inquire who am I and go to the presence, Atma.
Okay.
Right? So here, the key here is we should not try to catch the present moment. We cannot never catch the present moment. We can be in the present moment. Are we clear?
Thank you, Prabhuji. Very nice.
Anybody else has any questions? Purnima, Katyayani, Gayatri?
No questions, Guruji. It's very clear.
Okay.